Hey everybody, welcome back to Fish on Adventures. Today we're going to do a sink replacement in our motorhome. And if you're like me and my wife, we have the sink that they come in these motorhomes are an 80-20. They have this small basin and a big basin. We just don't like this. And there's not a lot of options available. I did a lot of research trying to find a single basin stainless steel sink to replace the one we have, but they don't make any. You can have it custom made and it's very expensive. So after doing some more and more research on it, looking for single basins, what we found was, and this is from RecPro, and we're not sponsored by RecPro. This is just a part that we bought for ourselves. This is what they're calling a black granite single basin sink, and it is a direct replacement for this 26 by 15 sink, which is popular in motorhomes, but why they don't make many options for them, I'm not sure. But they do offer it in this same color white. It's offered in a slightly off-white, and it's offered in what they're calling black granite. Now, the picture will show it to be black. It's not black. It's more of a charcoal gray. However, the color's not bad. We do have black or grayish specks in our countertop, so it should match well. So let's go ahead and get started on the removal of the old sink, and then we'll get into the installation of the new one. Okay, one of the first things you're going to need to do, and this is a little tight right here, you're going to need to remove both the nuts off your drain screens. And so you just literally unscrew those by hand. This is not going to take a lot of tools to do this. You'll need a Phillips screwdriver and maybe a hole saw, but this is going to be, it's relatively easy. And then after you remove the two screws, your hot water line and your cold water line that connect to the faucet, they have a nut. You just want to unscrew them by hand and then just let everything hang. Now remember, there's probably going to be a little water come out, so put a towel or something there to catch the water, or wipe it up. Be sure you wipe it up. Okay, well now that we've got both pipes loosened off and both are removed, both water lines are removed. So let's go, and we're going to remove all the clips. And I'll show you, I've already done the clips, but the clips are located along the sink. You'll have two on each corner. And some sinks you might even have one directly in the middle, but these were Phillips screwdriver. Just work your way around the sink and remove all the clips from the bottom of the sink. Okay, the next step, once we get all the clips out, the sink is basically loose, but they use plumber putty or silicone to waterproof the edge of the sink. So you want to take a putty knife or even a drywall scraper like this one, a mud knife, and it works good. You want to work it underneath the corners and go all the way around the sink and break all of that putty loose so you don't tear your laminate on your countertop. Okay, you're not going to be able to get the putty knife back here in the back. Let me show you what you do. Once it's loose, the sink will come up, and you take it and carefully walk it forward, and that putty will come loose from the back side. Don't pull up. Do not pull up. Pull outward, because you will tear this laminate. All right, now that the sink's loose, we get a pretty good view of what we had. You can see the plumber putty that they put on there to seal the sink. But this is the bottom side of the double basin. Now we're going to have to come in and we're going to have to remove and clean up all this putty and get it off here. And as you can see, when they overlap this laminate. And if you pull up on this, you'll tear it, and then you're going to be needing new countertops. So these sinks are, the faucet is connected directly to the sink, so there's no hose to drill into the wood. Depending on the faucet, if you're going to reuse your original faucet, you'll need to remove the two plugs or drill them out. I recommend drilling them out, not knocking them out with a hammer, because you could break the sink. We're going to be replacing this with a new Moen faucet. It has a really small pull down wash deal, which will be really cool. You'll see here in just a minute. But it's a single hole. So this right here, the whole thing's gone. So if you take a look down inside, you can see the plumbing. So we have our hot water and our cold water line. And we will have to modify this. This will not directly connect to the Moen faucet. We'll have to come in and we'll have to clip the tubing and put a PEX fitting on there to the new fittings on the faucet, but it's really simple to do. So you want to remove the double line, so just remove the screw and we literally take this double drain section out, and the single basin has a single drain, and we'll put the strainer in it and we'll connect it straight to the drain pipe after we get the sink installed. This is a real, I want to let y'all know, this is a easy job to do. It's not difficult. So don't be afraid to do it, and don't pay all that labor cost to have someone else do it. This is a job that you can do at home. So first thing we're going to do, let's get all this cleaned up. Just scrape off all this plumber's putty. You don't want to leave anything there. And we're not going to use plumber's putty. We're going to actually use silicone. Okay, that's got that. Now we have to prepare the new sink for installation, but I want to make sure before I get started and do everything that it fits properly. Okay, we're going to just rough fit the sink to see how well it fits. And you can see there's slack side to side. So what we're going to do, I'm going to show you how to get this sink 100% centered where you're not just like hanging on the edge. So let's get that step done. Okay, let's go to the step of centering the sink, and it's a really easy technique. You pull the sink all the way forward and take a pencil and mark 2 locations on the front. Pull it to the side all the way and make sure it's all the way to the front. Mark 2 more locations. Now come back and push the sink all the way back. Now, just using the eye, you've got the sink all the way back. You want to, see, you can get close up to this. You want to take and mark, put another mark about halfway into the sink, and you can go ahead and remove this mark. And then come over here and do the exact same thing. Put about split it, just eyeball it about halfway, and then you can then remove this mark. Okay, then come over to this side, take the sink, slide it forward. You have your 2 marks. Push it all the way back, and once again, just split the difference. And you can go ahead and remove that outside mark. Now when you put the sink in, you'll line these 2 marks up along with these 2 marks like this. Now the sink is dead center, and you'll have equal amount of the ledge area for your sink to sit. And we're going, like I said, we're going to apply a bead of clear silicone all the way around the inside of this. So when we set the sink, it sets into a bead of silicone, and we have an equal amount, and the sink's properly squared into the hole. So let's remove the sink and let's prep the sink for installation. All right, we want to put the sink drain in. Just unscrew the large nut. You'll have a paper washer, cardboard. You'll have 2 rubber gasket. Now it's not, you don't have to, but I always put a little silicone. A lot of people use the plumber's putty when they put it in the sink basin. I normally don't do that. I like to use silicone. Okay, we got strainer. Now I'm going to put a bead of silicone all the way around the inside of it. And some people, like I said, they like to use plumber's putty, but in this case we're going to use clear silicone, and just put it into the chamfered area all the way around. Now we're going to set that into the recess like so. Then we'll apply the rubber gasket with the cardboard on the bottom. Stand it up. Okay, we got the 2 gaskets on the bottom. We're going to start the large nut and tighten it down securely. Do not put you don't have to put a wrench or anything on it. Just get it really good hand tight. And that's good right there. You can leave this on, or you can take it off. Either one. That'll be part of the plumbing nut that we use. It comes with a nut and a adapter for the drain pipe. We'll leave it there. Okay, we'll make sure there's no silicone squirted out, so nice and clean. It's installed. So now we're ready to install the faucet. Everything's done on the faucet. So we're using a mowing. We bought a new faucet. It's a mowing faucet, and it's a single spout with a smaller strainer. It's actually pretty cool. And as you can see, like I was saying, it comes, these don't have the nuts on the bottom to connect the pipe to. So you got a really typically long braided stainless steel tubing that we will have to cut the PEX tubing and put an adapter on the PEX to accommodate this 3/8 brass compression fitting, or just fitting. So this is our new faucet. This is what we're installing. The sink hose and everything will connect here. But we just need one hole. We're going to have to drill just one hole for this, and then we'll put the nozzle on. But they do, if you're interested in this and they have an adapter plate that comes with it to cover up the two holes if you have two holes, and that allows you to do these center hole. And this is what's really cool. This is the new shower end that pulls down and you can spray your dishes with, and I thought that was really neat. Okay, if you can see, the sink has knockouts. Don't use them as a knockout. Get your hole saw. Too big. Perfect right there. I'm going to drill a pilot hole first, and then I'm going to turn it over and drill it from the other side so I don't make any scars or scratches. We're going to find center of this hole. We're going to carefully drill our pilot hole. Okay, we got our pilot hole drilled, so now we'll turn the sink over. Put our hole saw in here. And drill. Oh, that's bad. My wife's looking at me, said I should have done this outside. Okay, the hose drilled, we cleaned it up. Now we want to slide the faucet into all the hose work into it. Like so. And I'm just kind of ensuring that it fits, test fit. And that looks pretty good. Now I'm going to put a bead of silicone on this. This washer. We'll put just a little bit of silicone. each side. Set it there so it'd be easier to put on. Okay, we'll take the hose and everything, put it back through. Try not to get any silicone on it. Put the water, get ready, put the faucet back into its location. We'll need this metal washer that's designed to go away from the hoses. And screw the nut on. Okay, we'll want to take a pair of channel locks or a crescent wrench and just tighten the nut up. Just get it secure. You don't have to get it real tight, just secure. Make sure that it's square. It is. And we'll clean up all the silicone that came out. Okay. Alright, we have the sink. Now the sink is ready to go back in. But before we do, set the sink upside down in a comfortable place. What I recommend doing, because these screws are really hard to reach to, is to pre-thread each hole. Put the screw in and thread it all the way down. And then back it back out. And this will make it a lot easier when you put the clips on to get them started and to tighten up. Because you're working underneath that sink in a tight area. It's hard to get in there. So go ahead, like I said, we'll do each one. And back it out. Okay, we got all 6 holes threaded. We put the screws in. This will make it easier. Remember, to make it easier to start the screw and also put it down. Because once you set the sink, you don't want it moving around a lot. Because you're fixing to put a bead of silicone or your plumbing putty, whichever you choose to use. But we have a channel right here all the way around the sink that's designed for either silicone or plumber's putty, but we're going to use clear. So let's get all that done and we'll be ready to set the sink. Okay, we got our bead of silicone all the way around, so now we need to set the sink, and we'll set it where we put our pencil marks, and it'll be centered, and then we can start putting the clips underneath. Alright, we want to carefully find our mark so we don't have to move it a whole lot. Set it down on the marks. There. Right there. And our sink is now square. Apply a little bit of pressure. Get the silicone down. And you can see it oozed out all the way around, so we have a good watertight seal. Okay, now we're going to install our clips. And I got to admit, this is probably the worst part of the entire installation. Because it's a little trouble getting to them. Okay, the sink's installed. We got all the clips on. I will tell you that was a lot harder than I wanted it to be. They come off a lot easier and they go back on. Very difficult to get into these back ones into this small cabinet, but we got them on and we're done. So now we're ready to move on to the drain plumbing and then the water line plumbing. This will be real simple. And what we were able to do is we were able to utilize some of the existing plumbing, which saves money. All we needed to buy was a 90 to put on the pipe. And it all lined up nice with the existing plumbing, so that was really good. So we'll put this together, and I'll show you how this looks after we get it installed. But essentially, what we have is this now hooks to the drain, and it goes to the pipe that comes up and goes to the gray tank. The plumbing that was here, all I needed to do was literally just cut the pigtail off this one and utilize that for the pipe to connect. So this all came out real good, and we'll get this installed. All right, so give me a second. I'll hook this up and I'll get the camera and we'll show you what it looks like connected. Okay, as you can see, that was really easy to do. We went from a double to a single, and all we took is the existing pipe. We added a 90 to it, a compression 90, and connected back to the existing pipe. And this is the only piece of hardware that we had to buy to adapt or make this change. Now, the next thing we're going to do, we're going to hook up the hot and the cold water line. And as you can, the Moen faucet comes with the braided stainless steel tubing, and some of them will come with just a copper pipe. And all you have to do is cut off a section of the pipe, and I'll show you underneath. And we ran the existing pipe through, and we cut off the PEX tubing where we're connect. We bought 2 of these valves, and these valves are just like you would hook up a sink in your house. And these are super simple. They literally slide right over the PEX tubing. There's nothing to tighten up. It has a washer inside of it to around the tubing, and it has a locking ring that holds it in place. So you literally just slide this over the tubing and seat it, connect the two hoses, hot to cold hoses, and then you're finished. You turn the valves on and you're ready to pressure tech. So let's get this done and I'll show you this completed. Okay, so there's both the valves installed. Just make sure that they're in an up position where the water's on, and that actually completes the installation. One thing I didn't show, and I'll show quickly, is we've already put the pull down faucet on, and it literally pushes through the tube. Some light. And it's a quick connection. I don't know if you can, hope you can see that. And it just literally clips together, and then there's a counterweight that clips on. Really simple to do, and that's what keeps the faucet in place. But other than that, that is your plumbing. That's just how simple it really is. Okay, that totally completes the sink and new faucet installation. Just remember, if you're looking for a 26 by 15 inch sink and you're having issues finding it, there are not a lot of options available right now. However, if you go to RecPro, not sponsored, but if you go to RecPro, they have what they're calling a black granite single basin sink that is a direct replacement for this sink in this RV. They offered it in an off-white as well. This is the only sink that I could find anywhere doing my research, trying to find another sink anywhere. So this came out really good. We like what we have. We have the new Moen faucet, has the retractable spray nozzle. The whole project was really easy to do. If I had to rate it on a scale of 1 to 5, I'd give it a 3, just because it doesn't take a lot of skills, but you do need a few necessity tools, a tubing cutter and a Phillips screwdriver is basically all I used. It wasn't a pair of channel locks. But other than that, it was really easy. The clips are a little trouble, but I really hope you enjoyed the video. I hope the information that I gave you was useful. The next video we're going to do is going to replace the original awning. There's another one. I couldn't find a lot of how-to videos even from the company on replacing a motorized or electric awning. There are a lot of videos out there on the pull down and mechanical ones, but not the electric ones. They are a little different. So we're going to make a video on that. We do have the proper instructions for changing the awning, so I want to do a video on that, and because maybe you're looking into doing it and not sure how to do it. From what I can see, it doesn't look too complicated, but we will tackle that. So if it's your first time here, I really hope you hit the subscribe button and click the bell icon, and remember to hit the like button. That does help us on our YouTube algorithm. So remember, I hope to see you on the water. God bless, and fish on.